my top 3 favorite astronaut episodes from the Twilight Zone. Number 3, The Little People. Peter and William are astronauts that have to make an emergency landing on a mysterious planet. When they get there, there's a little bit of tension between these two characters because Pete doesn't really want to listen to William, who is his commander. Pete's sort of an insubordinate who doesn't really want to take orders from anyone. So while William Fletcher is trying to repair the ship, Peter Craig goes out to explore, only to find that there are tiny little aliens that have formed a community on this planet. He soon realizes that they view him as a god, basically because of how tall he is over them. Mad with power, Peter Craig tells the aliens to build him a huge lifelike representation of himself. William Fletcher finally comes to him and tells him that they're ready to take off, but Peter Craig has decided to stay on this planet, being that he is a god and can do whatever he wants to these alien creatures, including destroying some of their buildings just because he feels like it. Fletcher, fed up with Craig's insubordination and overall attitude, leaves him on this planet. The episode ends with a shadow falling over Craig, and when he looks up, 2 much larger aliens are standing over him. One of them picks him up, but accidentally crushes him and kills him. The alien race that he was the god of topples his statue onto his lifeless body. I thought it was a great commentary about the relative nature of the universe, where we could think that we are tiny creatures on our planet, but then on another planet we could be giants, but only for a moment. Number 2, I shot an arrow into the air. A rocket blasts off from Earth, but soon quickly crash lands onto a mysterious planet. 4 of the crew members survive, with one of them critically injured. The 3 uninjured people, Donlin, Pearson, and Corey, are trying to decide what to do. Donlin gives the 4th man some water, much to the chagrin of Corey, who thinks that whatever water they have needs to be saved for the 3 remaining healthy people. Donlin orders Pearson and Corey to go outside and see if they can find any signs of life, food, or water. In the midst of this, that 4th crew member who Donlin gave water to succumbs to his injuries, leaving the remaining 3. Corey returns with no Pearson, and when Donlin questions him, Corey just says that they went different directions, and Corey returned, and Pearson must still be out there somewhere. Donlin, however, is very suspicious of Corey when he sees Corey drinking deeply from his canteen. Donlin draws his gun on Corey and demands that he take him back to Pearson. It turns out that Pearson, who is now injured, has crawled far away from where he was originally left by Corey. When they get to Pearson, he doesn't have the strength to talk, but he begins to draw lines in the sand.
He drew this.
Donlin wants to go to the ridge where Pearson had seen these lines, but Corey grabs his gun and shoots Donlin. However, he shoots the canteen as well. Now, with only 1 canteen on this mysterious planet, Corey climbs the ridge and is horrified at what he sees.
Telephone poles. You were trying to draw telephone poles.
All they had done was crash-landed back to Earth, and they were right near civilization this whole time. Another great episode on how human quickly devolves into irrational beings when faced with survival. And number 1, Elegy. 3 men land on an unknown planet far away from Earth. They know that this is not Earth because there are 2 suns instead of 1. However, everything looks much the same as it did 200 years before, which would be the equivalent of the 1960s in terms of furniture, dress, and clothing. The only difference is that everyone seems to be frozen in place. They try to talk to a farmer out in a field, and he doesn't respond to them. They hear some music, only to find that the music is coming from a radio. Then they pass through a theater where everyone seems to be sitting watching some kind of beauty contest. As they walk through the theater, one of the figures comes to life. Jeremy Wickwire is the only moving person in the place, and he tells the astronauts that he is the curator and caretaker of this asteroid. He explains that nuclear war destroyed Earth in 1985, but this asteroid was bought by the rich in 1973 in order for them to live out their fantasies after they died. They're sort of in a permanent stasis where they can continue to see what they loved in life. He also reveals he's a robot who occasionally activates to continue to curate this place that has been called Happy Glades. His number 1 job, aside from curating, is to keep the peace and make sure everything is tranquil. Wickwire pours some wine and asks the men what their greatest desire is. He originally thinks that they are from the Happy Glades organization, but he's surprised to find that they're just 3 astronauts who found this asteroid on their own. The men tell him that they just want to go home. Soon after, however, they all begin to feel very sick, and Wickwire tells them that they've drank eternifying liquid, which sounds to me like embalming fluid. All they want is the antidote and to go home, but Wickwire tells them that if there are men around, there can be no peace. They have now become part of the Happy Glades estates. It really made me wonder if any of these other people who are frozen met the same fate as the astronauts. A little behind the scenes in this episode is that all of the statues in the scenes are actors trying to remain as still as possible. It actually adds a little eeriness to the scene when you see these actors who are attempting to stand stock still, just make the tiniest movement or sway just slightly. The main actors that were alive had to move in and out of the scenes around the actors without bumping into them. But they also touched their clothing or their skin to show that they weren't statues, but were in fact real people. I thought it was a fantastic way to display this, where today we would just probably use CGI or something like that. And finally, the foreshadowing of Wickwire's knowledge of humanity's self-destruction on Earth was both subtle yet powerful when it came to the ending of this episode. So, which was your favorite? Did I cover all of the best episodes? Which one did I miss that you would like me to cover in a future episode?